And it's also not patriotic. And you say, why isn't that patriotic? For the simple reason, folks, that the founding fathers of the United States separated church and state. We found it in our last study in the First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States. The principles upon which this nation is based are the principles of civil and religious liberty, separation of the things of the church from the things of the state. So when Christians say we need to join the church and the state, that is not patriotic because it goes against the principles upon which the United States was built. The two principles that are the secret of its power. Now, in order to understand the work of the beast of Revelation 13, the beast that rises from the earth, we need to go back to a prophecy that we find in the Old Testament. It's the prophecy of Daniel chapter 3. You see, in Revelation chapter 13, this beast raises an image. It commands everybody to worship the image. Whoever does not worship the image is to be killed. Now that scene comes directly from Daniel chapter 3. And so in order to understand this, we need to go back to Daniel chapter 3. Actually, folks, do you know, it's very, very interesting to notice that Daniel chapter 3 is illustrating one of the clauses, actually the first clause of the First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States. You say, well, how is this? Let me explain. Nebuchadnezzar was the civil ruler of Babylon, wasn't he? He was to preserve the civil order. But Nebuchadnezzar raised up an image and he commanded everyone to what? To worship. Let me ask you, was this the civil power trying to establish religion? Most certainly. He's trying to establish a religious observance by raising an image and saying to everybody, you need to worship this image. Was he overstepping his bounds? Yes, because he had the right to legislate when it came to civil matters, but he did not have a right to command people to worship in a certain way. Let me ask you, when he established this religious observance, what was the immediate result? The immediate result, folks, was persecution. As you read the book of Daniel, was Daniel a very good citizen of Babylon? Did he respect the king? Did he pray for the king? Did he obey the legitimate civil laws of Babylon? He most certainly did. But when the king overstepped his bounds and he legislated, he established a religious observance with his civil power, these three young men practiced civil disobedience. The story shows us that the time when we can practice civil disobedience is when the state oversteps its bounds and legislates the first table of God's law. It legislates worship. It establishes a worship observance. So let me ask you, in this story, do you find an illustration of the establishment clause of the First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States? Yes, because the First Amendment says